Hello everyone, welcome to LUKMAAN IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 29th April 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, again we can see the COVID-19 related developments and some analysis of important issues. Okay, largely all the topics in the Hindu newspaper are related to COVID-19, governance, then election commission, High Court, Supreme Court. They are talking about how to deal with this COVID-19 pandemic, international help being given to India to deal with this COVID-19 pandemic second wave. So yes, let us take overview first of all these articles. First, antimicrobial resistance, the silent threat. So on page number 7, op-ed page, this is important from science perspective GS3 paper. So antimicrobial resistance, what do you mean by antimicrobial resistance, what are its causes and way forward is being discussed here in this article. So already in 2014 there was question in mains examination GS3 paper regarding the kind of drug resistance being created because of, let's say, over the counter use of antibiotics. So yes, once again it is in news, so that's why we are going to take input here. Next, shortage and vestage. So again, editorial page article, it is talking about the kind of high level of vestage happening to this Covishield and Covaxin vaccines in different states. Like Tamil Nadu is having high rate of this vestage and it is creating let's say mismatch in demand and supply because of vestage here. So yes, the article is talking about this particular issue along with other issues in vaccination policy, okay, or the challenges involved there for the state government. So from governance and COVID-19 pandemic, we are going to take input here. Then salutary steps. So the context here is recent ECI steps. Election Commission of India has taken certain measures to deal with the COVID-19 appropriate behavior in, let's say, during voting as well as after voting, counting of these votes, okay, during we can say counting of votes, along with that after declaration of results on 2nd May. So what are these steps and the analysis here regarding the electoral reform that is needed to, let's say, discontinue that practice of having the elections in different phases, okay. So here GS2 paper, electoral reforms. And lastly, some important COVID-19 related developments at national level, some important decisions taken by the government, and lastly the international help to deal with COVID-19 pandemic in India. Okay, so as a follow up to that part, again today also we are going to understand what are these developments. Let us go into details of all these articles. First article here, it is talking about the antimicrobial resistance, the silent threat. Okay, so the context of the article, again let me tell you that the antibiotic use is being increased, especially in health sector because of this COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, all over the world there is a new challenge created, especially in this 21st century. It is being said that this is the unforeseen pandemic that we may face in near future, the writer is talking about. So that's why we have to understand the causes of AMR and the way forward also. Now what kind of question that was already asked in 2014 mains examination GS3 paper, can overuse and the availability of antibiotics without doctor's prescription the contributors to the emergence of drug resistance diseases in India? What are the available mechanisms for monitoring and control? Critically discuss the various issues involved. This is how the question was framed here, 2014 mains examination GS3 paper. Basically it was in news, drug resistant diseases, especially TB, tuberculosis. Okay, so many such let's say drug resistant bacteria of this TB were being developed because of overuse and, let's say, use of these antibiotics without doctor's prescription. Okay, along with that, at present also we are seeing many variants being developed of this COVID-19 virus because of the antimicrobial resistance that is being created among the people and lack of appropriate completion of this doses of antibiotics All these issues are involved here. Okay, so first of all, let us try to understand the meaning of antimicrobial resistance. It is the phenomenon by which the bacteria or fungi evolve and become resistant to presently available medical treatment. Okay, so it is basically regarding bacteria and fungi, not directly related to virus. Virus, there are mutations in virus. Okay, there are mutation in virus, self-evolving mutations are involved there. So it is not directly related to COVID-19 pandemic. However, we have to understand that the use of antibiotics may lead to such drug resistant diseases in future, not COVID-19 specifically. Okay, so this is the meaning. Now what are the causes? Three important causes. First, misuse of antimicrobials in medicine. Basically it is talking about the antibiotics. So what happens here is that the over the counter use of this, we can say, antibiotics, if you are having cold, headache, and suppose a sore throat is there, then the person without going to the doctor directly goes to the medical shop and ask about any particular antibiotic regarding that and takes that particular course and think that yes, I am completely fine. However, what kind of antibiotic you are taking or the pharmacist is giving to you may be creating the antimicrobial resistance for further such drug resistant diseases for you. Okay, so that's why without doctor's prescription, this is being let's say misused in the medicine field, right? Along with that, the inappropriate use in agriculture also. So antimicrobials are used in agriculture also to deal with, let's say, bacteria and fungi, especially we can say pesticides and fungicides, right? So there is a huge scale of use in agriculture. Try to understand, in medicine it is minute scale, but as compared to agriculture, in agriculture there is huge scale use of or large scale use of these pesticides and fungicides involving these antimicrobials. And lastly, the contamination around the pharmaceutical manufacturing sites due to release of untreated waste. Now this is the problem, because untreated waste from these pharmaceutical companies is directly entering into the water bodies or surrounding air and then getting mixed into the water bodies and ultimately mixed with the, let's say, drinking water supply through the rivers, or we can say groundwater also, right? So it is creating the drug resistance among the people. Now what should be the way forward here? The first and foremost is again development of new antibiotic medicines, because as we are becoming more and more drug resistant, we need more new antibiotics. Okay, higher level antibiotics, we will say that higher level antibiotics, because the people at present may become drug resistant to existing antibiotics. So we need to further have research and development of this. Accordingly, a multi-sectoral $1 billion AMR, Antimicrobial Resistance Action Fund, was created at international level. This was launched in 2020. It was supposed to be creating, or let's say developing 2 to 4 such antibiotics medicine or antibiotics by 2030. This group or this particular fund, basically it is the collaboration of various important international pharmaceutical companies and the development banks. They are funding this particular action fund, AMR action fund, through this. Okay, so international multi-sectoral coalition is there. Okay, then patient education to reduce unnecessary antibiotic prescription. Okay, for example, in Peru there is such kind of patient education is being launched by the government, right? So to reduce unnecessary antibiotic prescription. So whenever it is not required, the patient should be advised to not take antibiotic. Okay, this is the patient education. This is very important. Along with that, regulatory reforms to influence prescriber behavior, that is doctors should ensure restraint in prescribing these antibiotics wherever it is possible. Okay, so young people especially, they need not to have antibiotics. Yes, the simple medicine, along with that the external natural, let's say, supplements should be given so as to get cured rather than antibiotic. So that's why the prescriber behavior should be influenced. Such kind of program is undertaken in Australia at present. Along with that, reforms to prevent use of antibiotics in livestock agriculture, such kind of reforms are undertaken in Denmark. So it is reducing this factor, inappropriate use in agriculture. Okay, and lastly, successful policies in individual countries are no guarantee to global success, and that's why international alignment and coordination are paramount in both policy making as well as implementation. So some kind of synchronous policy making and implementation at international level among the nation states is important to deal with this AMR issue. Okay, so yes, through this we can tackle this particular question also, and broader level the AMR issue in health sector science, you need to know about this issue, causes and way forward. Fine? Okay. So GS3 paper science part, accordingly you can take input here. Moving on to next article, shortage and vestage. So the context here is the kind of, let's say, shortage of COVID-19 vaccine is created in different states in the country, and one of the factor for that is the vestage is being high in some of the state, and that's why the vaccination, it is affecting the efficient vaccination program in different states. So some important facts: at present Health Ministry had said that a little over 1 crore vaccines are in stock with states. Additional 57 lakh would be made available within this or over this weekend. Among the larger states, Tamil Nadu reported high percentage of vaccine vestage, nearly 8.83%. That means suppose 100 doses are available with the state government, then it is being vested 8 such doses, more than 8 doses are being vested here. Along with that, there is no such vestage reported in some of the states and UTs like Andaman Nicobar, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, even Kerala and Odisha, Himachal Pradesh. So no vestage is seen in these states. So this means that yes, cold storage facilities are there. Along with that, the people are taking vaccines. Okay, and demand supply is matched there. In operational guidelines of the Center on COVID-19 Vaccination, vestage multiplier factor is there, and this particular factor is 1.11, assuming that allowable programmatic vestage is 10%. So that means the vaccination program itself allow the 10% and around vestage of these vaccines. Okay, now why this particular vestage happens? Due to various reasons. First is vaccine reaching its destination after its expiry date. First thing, it is vestage. Second, if it has been exposed to temperature outside its normal bounds. At present, it is 2 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius. Both vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, they are being, let's say, stored in that particular temperature. Suppose the temperature increases because of, let's say, uncertain reasons, it is exposed to higher temperature, it is vested. Then third, suspected contamination and poor vaccine administration practices. So this is fourth one, poor vaccine administration practices. So you need to know about the reasons for vaccine vestage. Delayed, let's say, arrival of vaccines beyond its expiry date. Second, you need to know about is the exposure to the higher temperatures, and then suspected contamination and poor vaccine administration. So what should be the way forward here? Deep analysis is required for looking into the reasons why Tamil Nadu is having such high vestage percentage. At the same time, other challenges being let's say, faced by the state government, like administration and demand for skilled administrator. Okay, so administration of this vaccination program, along with that the skilled administrations will be required as a part of management of this logistics. and these ancillary support staff too have to be developed by the states along with planning for vaccine supply to the enable smooth and speedy rollout. So, we know that from 1st May the state governments are going to provide the vaccination to the younger population group 18 years to 45 years, and for that purpose these are the challenges being faced by the states and a way forward also. Fine. So, yes, governance, COVID-19 perspective, all these points are important. Salutary steps. Now, we know that recently Election Commission of India has taken certain steps after Madras High Court has given, let us say, a kind of a warning to Election Commission of India that there should not be any kind of further impact on COVID-19 situation because of, let us say, election results in the assembly on 2nd May. Okay. So, that is why during and after counting of votes on May 2nd, there are some decisions being taken by ECI, like it has banned victory procession after the results are declared on 2nd May. Only 2 persons can accompany the winning candidate to meet the returning officer and collect the election certificate, and agents of political parties and candidates cannot enter the counting hall without producing either negative test report for COVID-19 or final vaccination reports. Yes, these are the good steps, better steps we can say that, because already the Election Commission of India has come under the criticism that it has not taken various measures to ensure COVID-19 appropriate behavior during the election campaigning, especially in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu assembly elections recently conducted, right. So, what is the analysis here? Analysis, basically we should understand that time has come for ECR to reconsider its resort to multi-phase polling. Multi-phase polling, we know that recently West Bengal specifically because of, let us say, high amount of let us say number of population, along with that difficulties in movement of central forces to the different parts, all these are reasons. So, multi-phase polling was resorted there in West Bengal. So, this particular practice should be reconsidered now, and at the same time we know that multi-phase voting was advocated because of time needed to move central forces to different parts of the country, first thing. Second, security and sensitivity in the select constituencies are also considered. Okay, so security and sensitivity issues and the time needed to move central forces, especially CRPFs, to different parts of the country. Okay, so this is the reason why multi-phase voting was advocated. However, the writer is also saying that during West Bengal elections, instead of having 6 or 7 such kind of, let us say, different phases, after 3 or 4 phases the complete elections could have been completed, because yes, on one single day almost all states, remaining states, their elections was conducted. However, the West Bengal elections were continued for more number of phases. Okay, so that is why the writer is saying that they could have been clubbed after completion of remaining assembly elections voting. A prolonged campaign contributes to a build-up of tension. Yes, tension is there because of, let us say, the continuous kind of campaigning being done, the opposition party, the parties, let us say there is kind of potential of violence, virulence is spread through a campaigning. That is why we can understand that it may lead to tension here. So, covering an entire state as in few phases as possible will help, first thing, localize the potential for virulence. Second, prevent the spread of tension due to virulence of the campaign. Third, besides reducing the fatigue of forces deployed through the campaign up to the day of counting. This is how the significance of reducing number of phases, multi-phase voting is going to help here. Okay, so yes, this is good from good article, good input can be taken from electoral reform GS2 paper. There can be direct or indirect question regarding this. You can use this especially whenever we are talking about the COVID-19 pandemic that is going on, and at the same time ensuring the free and fair elections in the country, democracy. Okay, strengthening democracy even during the pandemic. Fine. Okay. Now, COVID-19 related developments, specifically every day we are looking into all these developments. So today some of the decisions are taken by the government. For example, PM CARES fund would be used to procure 1 lakh portable oxygen concentrator. Okay. Along with that, Election Commission of India made mandatory for candidates and agents to have negative COVID-19 test results and both doses of virus before entering the counting halls on May 2. Okay, May 2nd. So either they should have the negative COVID-19 test results or they should have taken both doses of vaccine. At the same time, one of the study has found that people who have been vaccinated with Covaxin have protection against the double mutant variant first found in India, the name B.1.617. Now this variant has two mutations, E484Q and L425R of the concern. These mutations are found in the receptor binding domain of spike protein. Though how the two mutations behave individually is well known, but the combined effect of these mutations when present together is not known at present. So that's why further studies are needed to understand transmissibility and infectivity of this particular variant, the authors write here. However, the Covaxin is being found more protective against this double mutant. Okay. Along with that, now the Pune based Serum Institute of India announced that it was reducing the price of its Covishield vaccine for the states from earlier announced 400 rupees per dose to 300 rupees per dose as philanthropic gesture. So we can understand that this is good initiative. However, this should have been already, the decision should have been already taken by the company. This is after the severe criticism that is being done for, let's say, the kind of commercial decision that was taken by these companies. Now, Delhi High Court asked the Delhi city government to explore the possibility of seeking assistance of armed forces in setting up field hospitals in the capital. Okay, so this is going to be explored now as the Delhi High Court has asked the city government to do so. Okay, so these are the COVID-19 related developments at national level. Now, international help, yes, US President has once again said that US will send India vaccine. Okay, he says that US is already dispatching whole series of help to India, including Remdesivir and vaccine inputs. Okay, to speed up the delivery, Singapore has deployed 2 of its Air Force aircraft to transport oxygen cylinders and other critical supplies. So 2 Air Force aircrafts of Singapore are reaching India to support some movement of oxygen cylinders and other critical supplies. At the same time, WHO pledged oxygen concentrators, laboratory supplies and mobile hospitals for India. Now this is good development. World Health Organization has also announced that they are going to help India in terms of these inputs, laboratory supplies, mobile hospitals for India. Okay, so yes, some important captions and quotations. Yes, there was one more article which was talking about the universal, let's say, social security kind of schemes. So yes, it has mentioned some important captions like illness is universal but healthcare is not. So we can understand that yes, healthcare is not universal, it is there is lack of access to healthcare in many parts of the country, at the same time in the world also, but illness is present everywhere. Yes, you can use such kind of statement in your answer. Pandemic has revealed that leveraging our existing schemes and providing universal social security is of utmost importance. So universal social security, use such words as a way forward in your answer. Then the people of this country are entitled to a full and honest account of what led more than billion people into catastrophe, if only to put at rest our troubled minds, restore the fractured trust between the people and the state, and be better prepared for the next pandemic. So yes, one of the article on page number 6, it was talking about the post disaster trauma that is faced by the people. So more transparency is required. The reasons for the delay of taking action by the central government or government should be communicated to the people, then only the people's troubled mind will be, let's say, put to rest, and the trust deficit will be breached here between people and state, right? So such kind of statement can be also used as conclusion. Fine. Yes. So these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari Sir and team, you can contact LUKMAAN IAS. Thank you.